What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junkdrummer TV, where I give my analysis, my hot takes, and my initial reactions on the drummers of today and yesterday, and maybe tomorrow if I stick around that long. I am a professional drum teacher and a gigging musician, and I have been for the last 20 years. Okay, I'm sick as hell right now, and I'm going to do my best to get through this video. The content must keep flowing. I'm all messed up on cough medicine, so I'm not going to guarantee the quality of this video. That cold tinge in the air can only mean one thing, fellow band nerds. It means competition season is in full swing. If you're in a drum line, hopefully your squad has taken home some hardware this season. So in celebration of everyone finally getting their whole show on the field, and you are all in cleanup mode, we're going to be doing another DCI video. But this time, we're going to give a little bit of love to the tenor line. So I've already done another video of DCI. I did the snare line of the same crew that we're doing today. It's the Cadets, formerly the Cadets of Bergen County, formerly the Garfield Cadets. Everyone, please go check out that other video, because at the beginning of that, I talk about how me being mainly a drum set channel, how this pertains to drum set. You know, this is marching band. Most of people come here for all the badass drum set players, and please stick around because we're going to be doing that again. But today we're going to give the band nerd a little bit more love. So, trigger warning for all you DCI scholars out there. I am not a DCI guy. I never marched. I did do a few camps for the Glassmen, but I never went through with it. I never had the bread to march. But I did march 4 years in high school, and I did march 4 years in college. And in college, I did the tenor line. Everyone stick around, because I may do a kind of a scandalous story time. And I'll also be giving a hot take on the price of tenor practice pads. So with that being said, let's get into it. Another great Vic Firth video. Again, I use these all the time in my lessons. If you've been in a drum line, you know how to count all these rests. If you notice, you have everyone counting at the same time, and everyone's, what I call playing the big drum. Everyone is marching in time right here. This is also an excerpt from Agnus Dei. I think this is from the 2017 season. Triplets, triple bass rolls, got some ninelets. So this first run through is just going to be a lot of me just kind of reacting to what's going on. This whole section will run again, and it will run at 35% speed, so then we can really start breaking down and analyze what they're doing. Man, if you've ever been a tenor player, you know how much it sucks to carry that stuff. Those things are so heavy. Playing in 5/8, there's those ninelets again. We're going to get into that in the next section. You're going to see a lot of the trickeration, what I call the trickeration of tenors. Crossovers, sweeps, scrapes, butterflies. There's a crossover right there. Man, the precision. So there's that 5-note, 8th note, 5/8 note pattern right there we'll get into. Man, those hand-to-hand flams right there. Whew, moving that stuff around. Again, I do these DCI videos in regards with my drum set videos, because if you're a young drummer, I cannot stress enough how great of a base and foundational fundamental elements of drumming that you will learn being a marching band drummer first. You just learn discipline, you learn practice, you learn how to practice. That's the big thing. You learn precision, you learn uniformity. It's a wonderful way to start out being a drum set player down the road. Those are sweeps right there. Yeah, man. Whew. Okay, so that's the first section right there in real time, and now it's going to slow down. Let me get a sip of water before we go on to the next one so I don't cough all over this video. But again, I think the tenors are the most advantageous instrument to play that transfers those skills to the drum set the best. The moving from drum to drum. You know, when I get a really great tenor student, they almost always turn into, you know, pretty competent to very, very good drum set players. It's just a great way to start. So this will give us a slower tempo. Okay, DCI people, I know y'all are going to have me. You're all going to yell at me for doing the cadets. You're going to want me to do all these other chords. The reason why I'm using the cadets are they're the ones that have these wonderful videos that have the music going on underneath, and that's why I'm doing the cadets again. I love the Phantom Regiment. I love Santa Clara Vanguard. This doesn't mean that I'm in the tank for the cadets. I'm not in the tank for any drum corps. I just like watching badass drums go down. Oh God, marching and counting all those stupid rests. I mean, the uniformity. These guys are all in the same exact shorts, same exact socks. Everything is about precision, doing everything exactly the same. So there's a Herta right there. You know, where I'm from, a lot of people say Herta. I got a lot of hell for that in the comments section last time. So these ninelets right here. Finally, I get to redeem myself from my first DCI video. I completely shit the bed on the explanation of those ninelets. Viewers, sometimes I'm a little cloudy during the filming of these videos, and in the heat of the moment, I sometimes forget things. So right here, you see these 16th notes with a 9 over top of it. What's going on there? You're playing 9/16 notes in the same space as you would play 8. What's happening there is you take the quarter note triplet. So you think of the quarter note triplet as every other note of 2 triplets, right? You've got 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1. And then you take every other note of that. 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1. A lot of you drum corps cats are told by your instructors to count those as triplet, triplet, 1, right? So what you're going to do is on each one of those triplet, triplet, you're going to play 3 notes. Triplet, triplet, 1. That is a 9. Drum corps, or a drum set guys and girls, try to do something like that in your rock band and watch your bass player and guitar player fall over. So those are ninelets. You see right there, there's crossover right there. Okay, so right here is where I'm going to give my hot take on tenor practice pads. You know, when I have a student who is a tenor player, they really can't have tenors at the house and, you know, practicing on a tenor at the crib, in the garage, and running your parents and your neighbors crazy. So we have to have them get tenor practice pads. And man, Vic Firth especially, because those are the ones that seem like everyone get, the big purple ones. Man, the price point on those stupid things are outrageous. I think like a regular 5 pad is like $179. Now, on the side, I do a lot of woodworking, and I can tell you that the price of the materials to make that is like $25. It's a piece of wood, probably plywood, and it's like 5 pieces of rubber. Man, that price point is ridiculous. Where I teach, you can probably tell from my accent, I teach in a, pretty, let's say, not affluent area. And I really hate asking my students, hey, you're a tenor player now, you're going to have to buy a $179 piece of wood. Man, Vic Firth, straighten up. That's my hot take. If you've been around me for any amount of time for the last, 25 years, because I taught high school drumline for 13 years as well. I've been bitching about that forever. That's ridiculous. I've actually thought about just starting making them myself and selling to my students. Okay, so marching through this 5/8, it looks like they're going to keep the quarter note constant when they're marching right there. There's those ninelets. That can be tricky because your lead foot switches. We always think about our left foot going down on the 1. Tempo change right there. I didn't catch that the first time. There's those ninelets playing in 5/4. So as you can see right there, that like half triangle over the note, that denotes, you know, a crossover. It's like right here on this one, right there. Trickeration, tenor trickeration. You got to learn all those tricks. I also think, and I think I'm right about this, the tenor player has to be the best reader in the whole band. I talk about this a lot in my lessons. When you're playing rudimentally, and you know, marching band is, you know, born out of rudimental drumming, every note that you play has ornamentation. Every note can have an accent, a double stroke, a flam, a buzz stroke, and then you have the sticking as well. Then you have the dynamics. So when a marching band drummer is reading, we're reading like 4 different elements at the same time. We're reading the note, we're reading the ornamentation, we're reading the sticking, and we're reading the dynamic. Now, when a trumpet player plays G, that G is G. They can trill the G, but it's still just a G. There's not much ornamentation that you can do on a wind instrument. But for drummers, we have all these variations of all these notes. Tenor players have to not only deal with those 4 elements of reading, they also have to put it on 4 or 5 or 6 different drums. When I have a tenor player who's usually making that switch from snare drum to tenor, I tell them, you have to be a better reader than you were as a snare drummer, because now you got to take all the notes and you got to move them on, you know, all 5 drums. So right there, if you see right there, that 5/3 thing and that 3/4 measure. And this is something I got from my commenters off of my last video. Everyone, please go check out the snare drum video that I did. Same DCI cadets, Garfield cadets of Bergen County. Right there, you're playing 5/8 notes in the space of where you usually do 4. So right there, that would be, oh yeah, so 1 and 2 and 3, right? Or that's on 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and, right? So what you're going to do, and I got this from a commenter, and whoever did that, thank you very much. They say the word university. So instead of going 1 and 2 and 3, to squeeze that 5 notes in there, they go university 1. So like 1 and 2 and university 5 or 4 or whatever. Again, I'm all messed up on cough medicine. So that's how you squeeze those 5/8 notes into the space of where you'd usually put 4. It's such a... yeah, man, these flams. If you notice how they have to keep their stick heights down to get those flams clean. Stick control and height dynamics. You know, they call them levels. You know, they play, you know, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Every note is kind of has been told what level they're playing at. I use those. There's that 5 again. Sweeps and crossovers. That's such a classic ending. So there you go, man. A little DCI tenor stuff, man. Again, this is me trying to introduce my regular viewers who tend to be more drum set oriented viewers, to try to turn them on to another area of the percussive arts, which is marching band. So now I'm going to do the story time. If you've made it all the way here, I've tried to figure out the best way that I can explain this story time. So when I was in college, I was the tenor player. And my high school or college band had went to a high school marching band competition to march an exhibition. You know, colleges do that, and they use that as a way to recruit. And I don't remember what the show was, but I remember that there was an 8-measure tenor solo, and that tenor solo had been given to us by our instructor kind of late in the game, and it's kind of a thing we weren't really strong on. So how's the best way I can put this? Me and my best friend at the time, who was the other tenor player, had decided to expand our minds on this college trip, if you know what I'm saying. And we went out on the field, and right before the downbeat, his name was Vince. Vince looked over and he's like, "Hey man, do you remember that solo?" And I'm like, "Dude, not at all, bro. I have no idea what that solo is." And he's just like, "It's 8 measures, man. You improvise the first 4 and I'll improvise the next 4. Oh, God. So we went out there and we did the show, and I don't know if it was good or not because I was not in my right mind. And the solo came. I improvised a tenor solo, and then he improvised a tenor solo. And look, for you drumline or drum set people, you don't improvise in marching band. We got off the field, and our marching band instructor, oh God, he was a terrible person. He sucked. He just went nuclear on us. He went crazy on us because we had just went off the script because, man, we were in another place and we couldn't remember those notes. So there's my story time about playing tenors. So again, I'm just here to try to, turn some other people on to this other style and other area of drums. So if you liked all that, please like, comment, and share. Please feel free to give me a double tap on the subscription and the notification bell. And remember, if you want to be a badass tenor player, you got to keep practicing until it's easy.